Google founder Sergey Brynn reportedly confronted California's Governor Gavin Newsom at a Christmas party in December over a proposed tax on billionaires in the state.
So here's what's crazy. A Google founder confronted. So here's what's crazy. The Google founder confronted Gavin Newsom at a Christmas party over a billionaire tax, and Newsom couldn't handle it. Sergey told Newsom at a Christmas party that he's leaving California to protect his $260 billion net worth. The billionaire tax proposal is pushing wealthy tech people out.
According to Bloomberg, Brynn told the governor at a Christmas party that he was leaving California, seemingly to protect his $260 billion net worth. The outlet reported that Newsom felt cold and hungry after the interaction.
Newsom also reportedly stewed over the conversation for months afterward, complaining about a, quote, lingering cold he allegedly caught from Brynn and his girlfriend. But Newsom says he doesn't support the tax, which is a one-time 5% tax on any billionaire residing in California. Newsom told the New York Times that he'll do what he has to quote, protect the state, arguing that the tax would stifle innovation in exchange for a one-time fix.
This is interesting. Brynn confronted Newsom at a Christmas party over the billionaire tax. Newsom apparently felt cold and hungry afterward. That's petty.
This tax is such a bad idea. Gavin Newsom isn't even in favor of it. Not
Right.
that he can do anything to grapple the insane liberal overreach of his progressive base, who are demanding the mass confiscation of wealth from the most productive and wealthiest California citizens, many of whom are fleeing to Florida, Texas, Tennessee, other states. They can't get out of there fast enough because also this proposal was to make it retroactive, so they had to leave ahead of time. So they're gone. The damage is done. They're all leaving. They're all getting out. California is a disaster. This state, and their attitude that, oh, it was so good for you. You owe us something. You owe us your money. It's a greedy attitude. California was made great by the presence, in part, of so many.
This is the tell. The panel sums it up. California is a disaster. Tech billionaires are fleeing to Florida, Texas, and Tennessee. The tax push is driving them out.
Entrepreneurial-minded investor-type people, Silicon Valley.
Forget Hollywood.
They built Silicon Valley. Well, Hollywood's great too. California has nice weather. It's a nice place to make movies. So that all worked out fine. Good for them. But this deal is over for the tech people. They're going to states where the regulatory and tax policies are favorable to innovation. I would seek to make all of America like that. That's the Trump administration's vision. So I'm not at all surprised that Gavin Newsom was confronted over this. Again, I understand that it's not his fault. This has been demanded. He's against it. Ro Khanna's changed his mind and become for it. Probably AOC is for it. I don't know if Kamala Harris is for it. I'm just wondering how many Democrats running in 2028 will be running on the platform of mass confiscation of wealth from the wealthy, because they think this is the one neat trick to balance the budget, because we're in debt as a nation. There's not enough money to pay our sprawling entitlement system, pensions, healthcare, Social Security, all of that. California's government employees got to get the money from somewhere, and they're like, we'll just take more money from rich people. That only works up until a point. They're already taxed a lot. I know Mom Donnie in New York thinks it should be like, 99% of your. I know that's not fair.
No,
it was
don't
to be
do
like
that.
52%. More than half of your livelihood belongs to the state.
If this makes you think, hit like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts.
I think that's bad. I think we should have a very low tax rate, leave people alone, let them invest their money how they see fit. And if we have to have a smaller entitlement state because of that, so be it. We'll have a great economy, and everything will cost less, and we'll have more housing, and that's what I want. That's my vision. And they're making that a reality in Florida and Texas and some other places, and that's good. I wish we would do it here in D.C. and in Virginia, and I wish they would do it in New York.
D.C.,
and
not in Virginia.
they're not doing it.
You're too concerned with Virginia lately. You got to move on from it. You live in D.C.
My neighbor, I don't know.
Okay, listen. I don't support the blanket.
My days in
billionaire
Navy
tax.
Yard are numbered if there's going to be these teen
Don't start with this.
takeover
don't start
attacks.
with this. Don't start with this.
Yeah.
People riding scooters enjoying their night. You're harassing kids. So
I'm harassing kids.
May I? Can we stay on
I'm
topic?
hiding in my apartment. Okay,
Poor
go
Robbie.
ahead.
He's,
Go ahead.
Oh my God, the kids on the scooters are really throwing his night off. He can't have.
Well, I'm the kid on the scooter.
cocktail.
They're fighting each other.
Okay, so I don't
And
support.
no one's ever stopped me from having a cocktail. So go ahead. So you watch yourself.
I don't support the billionaire tax. I'm on Newsom's side with this. I don't think that that's a good idea. I also think that a lot of people who are going to put their names in the hat for president in 2028 are also going to say the same thing. California has tried something like this in the past. A few years ago, it failed. Dead on arrival. This is going to be the same type of deal, but just the idea of it continuing to inch in the conversation every 4 years or so is problematic to business owners. So I understand why they're leaving. You talk about the biggest mass wealth confiscation. I like that term that you use because I think that it applies to the average person that also lives in California. A lot of these companies are replacing jobs. Most recently, we talked about last week how Meta is replacing 8,000 jobs with AI, and they're also taking 6,000 open positions and canceling them for AI. So that's several thousands of positions that won't exist. And so I think that on top of that, they're raising prices for consumers. So what was accessible to all, now there's tiers to Claude or ChatGPT or any of the AI that you use. And slowly, like we saw Netflix raise prices, we're going to see AI continue to raise prices and price the everyday average folk and the whole equality of it all out of the system, because some people don't have $20 a month for 5 different platforms to pay to be on the same page as their peers.
The real issue, it's not just the taxes. Meta just replaced 8,000 jobs with AI. That's the bigger problem for the average people. That's the thing. California pushes out the very people who built Silicon Valley. Between the taxes and AI replacing jobs, they're driving people out. Simple as that. That's the verdict.
And I also think they're scaling back by not replacing those jobs in the same communities that they built on the backs of. So if you ever saw people who live in Silicon Valley, you have to remember there were people in a variety of industries that can't even afford to live in their towns because these companies came in there and they don't work for them. And so now they're leaving. I would say the tax should be applied if they're going to cut that many jobs and have no plan forward to replace that many jobs. Like, there are people that are going to be in a situation where they've lost their jobs and now there's no 1-to-1 ratio of replacement. And now we've created a conundrum of no jobs in the tech space because they learned how to use AI so well. And I heard Jack Dorsey say this as he left Twitter and created Block. He's cut 40% of the staff already because he flat out is being very frank about it, saying that AI is just doing different jobs better, faster, and people, basically are not doing the job equally. And so I'm going to go that way. And so you built your job on the back of California's priced several people out of neighborhoods, created a community that, did bring wealth, but now you're taking it all away. So then maybe you should be taxed if that's how you're going to behave. You need to make sure you're employing the same people that help build you into the conglomerate that you are.
This is going to create new kinds of jobs.
Name them, though. They keep saying that. Oh, we can't fathom.
Conceive of what they are yet.
Yeah, is it going to be one job for every 5,000, or is it going to be literally 1-to-1? Are all these people going to get back to work who've studied in and around the tech space? Like, that's what I'm saying. What are people all going to do that are entry level? If every single entry level job is now replaced with AI, should people start at mid management?
I've heard maybe
out of college they should go straight to mid management.
I know. Well, I know you'd hate that. I know you think they have to do 18,000 hours of training courses before they can manage anyone.
You graduate and you're executive producer. I could talk TV. That makes sense to you? Graduate college EP? Tell me that. Would you like an EP that just graduated yesterday?
Grab an enterprising young person, throw them into it. If they do well, maybe they can. If they don't do well, then it doesn't work out. It's okay to just throw people into things and see, especially in our creative fields. Yes, not for being a doctor, but for in the kind of work we do. Yeah, I'd take a chance on somebody, sure. You're aghast that I don't think you should have to wait in line for 30 years and study and consult the sacred scripts before you're allowed to have a job. I think this is what's gone wrong with our entire society, is that we over-credential everything. We tell young people you have to jump through these 16 hoops and you have to pay a fortune to do it, and we're lying to them and saying, and there's a job waiting for you at the end. There might not be a job waiting for you at the end. So why not? So skip the hoops. Just go right to it. Well, no, I didn't, journalism, that's the only thing I'm qualified to speak on in terms of employment. is ridiculously over-credentialed. It's not something you should even study or learn. I know there's schools of journalism. I think they're mostly a waste of time. You should get an internship and...
there's value in the experience of actually learning how to write a story about why you wouldn't start the story with, like, let's say what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Say everybody was eating a steak and then everybody started to cut their steak. No, there was a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Don't bury the lead. You learn that in journalism school.
You learn you learn that by being a journalist.
No.
You learn that by
Nick
working.
Shirley didn't learn how to be a journalist by just going out there. He's still doing things wrong, and you and I have said that, right? We've agreed that he maybe not be trained by the book, but it would benefit him to learn a little bit more about it.
Well, you're just using an example of one person.
Yeah, a significant person. My point is that there is benefit to understanding how industries work before jumping into them.
I think more of us could use the move fast and break things vantage point of the tech industry. That does it for us.